Welcome! Today, we're heading to Brooklyn to try and solve a real estate puzzle that stumps a lot of people, the Park Slope Townhouse. You see these beautiful historic homes, but their prices, they can be completely baffling. So let's dive in and see if we can crack the code together. Right. You've been there, you're walking down one of those gorgeous tree-lined streets, and you see two townhouses that look almost identical. But you find out one is worth literally millions more than the other. How does that even work? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. Turns out there are three key factors that determine pretty much everything. Okay, so the very first thing you have to understand about Park Slope is that it isn't just one big single market. Nope, it's actually four totally distinct zones, and each one has its own personality, its own vibe, and its own price tag. Let's get into it. First up, we've got Zone 1, the North Slope. You can think of this as the absolute crown jewel of the neighborhood. This is where you'll find those grand, architecturally magnificent brownstones, a lot of which are protected by the historic district. The buyers here, they're often looking to own a real piece of New York history, and they're willing to pay top dollar for it. So just how high can those prices go? Well, in 2025, a townhouse right on First Street, super close to Prospect Park, sold for a staggering, record-breaking $13.9 million. Yeah, that gives you an idea of the kind of value we're talking about in the North Slope. Next, let's talk about Zone 2, the Core Slope. This is probably the classic Park Slope you picture in your head. It's got this amazing, vibrant mix of young families and people who've lived there forever. It's a great balance of prestige and a slightly more accessible price point, which makes it incredibly popular, especially for families who want to get into those top-rated public schools. Now in Zone 3, the South Slope, you get a whole different story. This area used to be known as the budget option, kind of the entry point to the neighborhood. But now, it's a super hot market all on its own. And while prices have definitely gone up, they're still hovering about 15 to 25% lower than the North Slope, making it a fantastic target for first-time townhouse buyers. And finally, there's Zone 4, the 4th Avenue corridor. This is the modern frontier of Park Slope. You won't find many historic brownstones here. Instead, you've got new, glassy condo towers with all the amenities: doormen, gyms, rooftop decks. It's a completely different lifestyle, and it comes at a lower price per square foot, attracting people who'll trade historic charm for modern convenience any day. All right, now that we've got the four zones mapped out, let's talk about the second, and maybe most important factor: the width of the house. In Park Slope, believe me, width is everything. It completely dictates how you can actually live in the space. The most common size you'll see is the 15-foot townhouse. This is your classic row house. And yeah, it's a little narrower, but it's often packed with charm and amazing original details. Plus, a lot of them have a rental unit, which can make it a really smart investment. And as you can see from the numbers, location and condition make a huge difference. An unrenovated 15-footer over by 4th Avenue might go for around $1.1 million, but take that same-sized house, move it closer to Prospect Park, gut renovate it, and you're looking at up to $4 million. It's a massive, massive swing. Now, the 20-foot townhouse. This is what a lot of people call the sweet spot. That extra 5 feet of width is a total game changer. It means you can have a grand parlor and multiple bedrooms all on the same floor, a layout that is just incredibly popular with families. And you can see that popularity reflected right in the prices. A fully renovated 20-footer in a prime location can command anywhere from $4.5 to a whopping $7 million. That is a serious jump from the 15-footer, and it's all about that extra, more livable space. Then you get to the top of the market, the 25-foot townhouse. These aren't just houses, they're basically mansions. They are the rarest and most expensive homes in the entire neighborhood, originally built for Park Slope's wealthiest Victorian families. And they offer a kind of space and luxury that's almost impossible to find anywhere else. And as you'd expect, the prices for these homes are in a whole other league. A renovated 25-footer can easily sell for over $8 million, and sometimes way, way over $14 million. And you'll notice they're really only found in certain parts of the neighborhood, which just adds to their exclusive mystique. So that brings us to our final key factor, and it's a force of nature in this market: the Prospect Park Premium. It's a really simple rule with a huge impact. The closer your home is to the park, the more it is worth. Period. Just look at these numbers. Being just one single block from the park can add a 60 to 80% premium to a home's value compared to a similar place over by 4th Avenue. Even if you're a few blocks away, you're still looking at a 15 to 30% premium. That park has an incredibly powerful pull. So what are you really buying with that premium? Well, it's not just a nice view. It's landmark protection that preserves the neighborhood's character. It's quieter streets with wider sidewalks. It's instant access to farmers markets and concerts. And for a lot of families, it's a guaranteed spot in a top-tier school district. So we've covered the zones, the different widths, and the undeniable park premium. Now it all comes down to the final choice every buyer in this neighborhood has to make. Are you here for the historic character or for modern convenience? So what's it going to be? The timeless historic charm of a brownstone with its own private garden? Or the turnkey modern convenience of a brand new condo with a doorman and a gym? There's really no right or wrong answer. But this is the fundamental decision that shapes the market and that every single buyer in Park Slope has to make. And that really leads to the big forward-looking question. What is next for Park Slope? Will that historic core always be the main draw, the beating heart of the neighborhood? Or will the new modern developments on 4th Avenue start to redefine what it even means to live there? Well, that is the multi-million-dollar question. Thanks for tuning in.